Right, what about Tottenham? Are we going to get new? Are we going to get the announcement that all the Tottenham fans are hoping for a centre back?
What's his
Yeah,
name,
I think
Al?
so, Al. When I spoke to you yesterday morning, yeah, what's his name, Al?
Dragusan.
Very good, very good. Yeah, Radu Dragusin coming in
There
from
you go.
Genoa. Of course, there was a little bit of rival interest from Bayern Munich, and even the player's agent has come out and said on record, "I can't believe we've turned down Bayern Munich," but he is on his way to Tottenham as part of the deal. Jed Spence heading to Genoa. He's undergoing a medical today, and there's also a buy option in that deal as well. This feels like a sliding doors moment for Jed Spence because he had that wonderful season, didn't he, when he helped Nottingham Forest into the Premier League. Obviously fell out with Chris Wilder at Middlesbrough, was never really given a look in at Spurs under either Antonio Conte or Ange Postecoglou. Spent the first half of this season on loan at Leeds. They decided to terminate that loan deal. So I think if he's going to fulfil his potential, he needs to do it soon, doesn't he?
Yeah. What about, we're talking about Newcastle, of course, Newcastle City coming up and that big win against Sunderland. The Sunderland winger, Jack Clarke, he's been playing well this season, although he struggled, I thought, a wee bit against Newcastle. Is he attracting any Premier League interest?
Yeah, quite a bit of Premier League interest, Alan, also right at the top end of the Championship as well. Clubs that have been mentioned to me as being potential suitors for Jack Clarke, Burnley in the Premier League, West Ham as well, who are looking to bring in some players in this window. And then the likes of Southampton and Leicester, I'm told, have also inquired, but it's going to take a big offer to persuade Sunderland to sell this month. They value Clarke in excess of £20 million, but
Really?
certainly one to keep an eye on.
Happy birthday, Jamie Vardy, as well today. Gab?
Oh, no, thanks for that. What about Palhinha from Fulham? Crookie, do you think he'll stay
Good
this
player,
season?
I like him.
Yeah, I think he will. I thought it was a very disciplined performance from him in defeat against Liverpool last night. Of course, he was close to joining Bayern Munich in the summer transfer window. That move fell through right at the end of the final day of the window. We expected Bayern to come back with a fresh offer this month. We're now being told from sources in Germany that won't happen. They can't afford the type of money that Fulham are talking about. I know that his people have been offering him to clubs at the top of the Premier League as well, but no real nibbles there. So good news for Fulham. I think he'll stay.
What are you the weekend, Crookie? What game are you taking in?
Big one on Sunday. Manchester United against Tottenham, and actually, Gab, I'm at Southampton on Saturday. Not been down there much this season, but keen to see what Russell Martin is building at St Mary's.
I think they're coming up, me. I think Leicester and Southampton are the sides that are. I think Leicester are obviously a certainty, but I think Southampton could gate crash it and come in second, and then you get the likes of Leeds, Ipswich, etc. All in the playoffs. There's going to be some big clubs fight that out at the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. And Southampton, I think, are 18 unbeaten now in all competitions. Interesting to see what they do this month. There's a bit of interest in Shay Adams, their striker, and I'm told a bit of £6 million probably would get him out of St Mary's, and maybe they'll bring in a replacement because they signed Ross Stewart in the summer for big money, but he's still on the injured list. So I think they do need maybe another number 9, but certainly from what I'm told, the football they're playing is really good, and they're starting to turn that into results. And I think you're right. I think Leicester are home and hosed almost at the top of the table, but that second spot is up for grabs, and I can see Southampton making a charge. Although, before I get stick from Leeds fans, I'm told they're going to have a busy transfer window as well, so it's going to be really interesting at the top of that league.
Crookie, what about your mate, Jadon Sancho? We've seen yesterday the move's gone through. It's just a loan, isn't it? No obligation to buy. Do you think it's really go time now for Jadon? He's really got to put in some performances, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. We saw pictures last night of his private jet touching down in Dortmund, so there's a medical today. Still waiting to get confirmation of the financial details, but I know it's going to be more than £3 million, the fee that Dortmund are paying, and it will rise if he helps them qualify for the Champions League and if he plays a certain number of games. It's fascinating, isn't it, to see what we get from Jadon Sancho, because obviously he's not played competitive football for a long time now, not since August pretty much. He's been training with the kids at Manchester United. He goes there, though, with a point to prove. And I understand why United haven't put a buy option in the deal, because if he goes back to Germany, back to Dortmund and absolutely tears it up, then, of course, his value will only increase. And maybe Ineos are even looking at it and thinking, well, if he can go and play well, if he can maybe patch up his differences with Erik Ten Hag in the summer, assuming that Ten Hag is still there, maybe he has a future at United.
What about Solanke, Crookie? Because Newcastle talk, Arsenal... Is he at that level? I do rate him, and he has got better season by season. His goals have doubled already from last season, 6 to 12. But is he that level that Newcastle are looking for to where they want to go?
Well, I don't think there's much in that Newcastle talk, to be brutally honest. They're operating under strict financial perimeters this month, and from what I'm told, there hasn't been any contact between Newcastle and Bournemouth for Solanke. Not that Bournemouth will be nibbling on that, even if there was. He's just signed a big new contract. I think it would take a big offer to get him out of the Vitality Stadium. Arsenal, as you say, have been mentioned, so have Tottenham. But for me, I think he probably still needs to do it at least until the end of this season and probably into next before one of those big clubs seriously comes knocking.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.